The North Sydney Bears podcast, proudly brought to you by CIP.
G'day, it's Greg Florimo here from the North Sydney Bears. We are starting a new Bears podcast, which we will be continuing on over the course of the next season and into the future. And today we have a very special guest who is going to share part of our Bears first podcast. We have Chris from CIP. Welcome, Chris. Just tell us about who you are.
Thanks, Greg. Thanks for the introduction. Welcome. My name is Chris Haslehurst. I'm the director of CIP, which is a construction organisation predominantly specialising in fit-out works, internal works. I've been a Bears supporter my whole life, hence why I got involved in the sponsorship of the Bears. So as a kid, my dad came to Australia when he was about 19 or 20, and they moved into Cameron. So Dad was a boxer. He was a schoolboy champion boxer in England, and he continued that when he came to Australia at North Sydney. So just one day he was there, and a guy asked him to come and watch the footy. So Dad, being English, he thought it was either rugby union or soccer. So he walked over to North Sydney Oval, and it was his first introduction to the rugby league. And the first team he watched was the North Sydney Bears, who became an avid follower for all that time. So that's how I got my love of Bears. Mum and Dad moved out to Liverpool, out west, and I still continue my love of Bears. I used to wear the Bears footy jersey everywhere I went, under a lot of duress, but happy to do so. Fast forward probably 5 or 6 years, I met a guy called Jason Taylor, who was a North Sydney stalwart, as you played with. We grew up in the neighbouring suburbs, and we used to have a lot of rugby league competitions against those guys, Ashcroft, and I was from Cartwright. And in their team, they had 3 guys that went on and played first grade. So they had Brad Fittler, was playing at Liverpool at the time, Ashcroft that time, Jason Taylor and Chris Lawler. In our team, we had Jamie Ainscote. So it was always a battle between these schoolboy teams, and we sort of had a love-hate relationship, I guess, with Ashcroft. So that's how it all started, mate. Yeah, back then. So always been a Bears supporter for my whole life. And then I moved to North Sydney, and I bumped into JT in the car park of the North Sydney Leagues Club. We had a bit of a chat about times, and as I walked away, he said, why don't you consider sponsoring the Bears? And I sort of thought about it, and thought, that's not a bad idea. I'm in a position now where I can do that. And I guess it was everyone's dream to be able to be involved with the club that they support. So that's how that came about, sponsorship.
Well, that was what I was going to ask. How did the partnership between CIP and the Bears come about? JT was obviously a good connection at the start, and then talk a little bit about how it's evolved over the last couple of years.
My dad at the time was diagnosed with dementia, which is hard for me to talk about, to be honest. He's still going strong. He's 90 years of age now, my dad, and I guess it resonated with me that I wanted to do something for him, and I thought, what a better way to do it than sponsor the team that he loved. His sons now are sponsoring him. So it took me about 2 days to think about it. I thought, why am I going to do this? And it was the best thing I did. When Dad found out, he was still coherent enough to understand. So I got him a jersey made up with Dad on the back, number 1, and gave it to him, and he recognised the Bear jersey and recognised CIP on the side, on the sleeve. So that meant everything to me, just to see him acknowledge it and still be in a position where he knew it was me sponsoring the Bears. So it was an amazing moment. My nieces were there, and my brothers and everybody were there when that happened. So to see his reaction was beautiful. Yeah.
And from that point, over the years, you've got to know the Bears, understand what the club's about. What is it that stands out to you that the North Sydney Bears really bring to the table in the community?
I guess from my point of view is that they're a club that doesn't have a huge amount of support from a first grade team. Obviously, they've had support through the Roosters and the Storm now, which is fantastic. But these guys work day in, day out. They're not full-time players. They're part-time players. They've all got jobs and careers that they're attending to throughout the day. And to fit rugby league in is amazing, considering we're winning the comp at the moment, coming first, which is unbelievable from my point of view, looking from an outsider's point, looking in, but being involved with those guys, they're a fantastic group of guys. Their comradeship's incredible, how close they are, how much pride they have in the Bears jersey. So hearing that song at the end of most games, I just find it a little bit inspirational, to be honest, to see that these guys work full time, yet perform how they are in the paddock is amazing. And they're competing against guys that have got 14 or 15 first, top 30 players in the squad, and not only matching them but beating them. Which it just goes to show you.
It's great to be around, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
These guys are so motivated and inspired to be better. That they're so willing to learn, and they feed off not just the coaches and the managers, but the people around the club, like yourself. They love that engagement.
And I find the Bears very professional as well. Not that I've been involved in any other clubs at this level, but I find them very professional, very tight-knit group of people. Everybody's inclusive. They do things very well. They do Anzac Day and they do Heritage Round, Indigenous Heritage Round extremely well. They put a lot of time and effort into that. The jersey that you got done was fantastic. I actually want to get one of those if I can.
Beautiful.
Gareth.
Beautiful. So we'll find one, I'm sure.
Yeah. So, as I said, I've never been involved in any sport at this level as a sponsor, but I look forward to it. I look forward to wintertime. I look forward to the Sunday, going to Bear Park and watching the boys,
And what are some of the key benefits that you see at CIP being associated with a sports team?
As I said, primarily what I mentioned before about my dad, that was my driving force to do it. Also being a North Sydney supporter. But I guess from CIP's point of view, we're getting a little bit more exposure now. We're a growing business. We're growing exponentially. We have in the last couple of years. Whether that's got anything to do with the Bears or not, I don't know. I will, but we'll say it does.
Yep.
But
we're there for the ride anyway.
Exactly. So things are starting to grow for us as a business. And I'm hoping, mate, one day if the Bears do get back in the NRL that CIP can still continue on with that sponsorship, obviously at a higher level.
Yeah.
The way things are going at the moment, mate, is we're looking okay. We're tracking in the right direction, that's for sure.
That's great news.
And that's the aim from my point of view.
So that you talk about the future of the partnership of CIP and North Sydney Bears. Hopefully that evolves into an NRL partnership. But at the moment, the club is in good shape. You like the way the pathways are progressing, and the footy team is going well.
Yeah, definitely. From a sponsor's point of view, I can't fault the club. Everything they do seems to be at NRL level, as far as I'm concerned. From an outsider's point of view, looking in, they're very well structured. The players are, fantastic. They're on board. I've been to a couple of the training drills. It's very professional. The way they look after the players is extremely professional as well. And I speak to the players on a personal level, and mate, they're happy. They want to play for the Bears. Even a couple of guys, older boys. You speak to the older guys that from last year and the year before. I'm sure they miss not being here. So it's got that feel about the club.
And I know you're a great supporter. You're there at most home games, and I see now you're bringing some of your staff along. It looks like the whole of CIP. You're engaged with the North Sydney Bears now. It looks like you're trying to bring them for the ride as well.
Yeah, I am. I haven't pushed them that hard to go to the games. I mentioned it to come along to a game a couple of weeks ago, and a lot of staff turned up more than I expected, which was great. And they're asking me when can they come again. So they've definitely invested in it. They've all got the Bears jerseys now. I'm going to enforce part of their contract now that they've got to become a Bears member. Gareth mentioned that to me, so I think that's a good idea that they paid fully paid up members, which would be good as well.
What are some of the synergies you see between your staff and our players and the professional side of things and how things are done? You see some similarities there?
Yeah, definitely. Work ethic. I see the work ethic in the players, and it resonates with me to the point where one of the boys who played for the Bears, Ben Marshke, is now working for the Bears working for CIP as a site manager.
Yep.
So I've also had a chat to Ben Tulty as well. So I see synergy there, 100%, with work ethic as a player, translates over to the workforce for sure.
Yeah.
And with Ben, that's definitely happened with Ben Marshke. He's doing really well.
There's a lot of disciplines that you learn in the footy club that are also transferable into your career. So
100%, yeah, definitely.
You'd have no hesitation in recommending any of our boys. I know that.
No.
Because you respect how hard they work.
Yep. Yeah. Well, that's one thing I look at. Yep. Obviously, when you look at somebody to give them an employment opportunity, you see how they perform on the field, not on the field, but off the field as well. That ticks the boxes for me, sure.
So let's just go back to the partnership. How do you measure, how do you understand how the partnership is going on a year-to-year basis? Is it something that you do actually reflect on and look on, okay, we're getting more traction in the market, we're getting more support? Do you have a review of that?
Yeah, we do. We're doing that this year more than most, just to see the traction we're getting, the hits we get that are associated with the Bears. So we are tracking that now, and with these guys' aims, they're involved in this as well now, and they'll give us some feedback and some data to let us know how it's all tracking. But from an enjoyment point of view, as I said before, man, I love it. I love going to the Bears game, seeing all the boys, seeing yourself, seeing the old Bears. I love it because I used to watch these guys play. Mark Graham, Don McKinnon, John Adam, Chris Luckman, Alan Shepherd. I could name them all. All the boys.
It's a great story because we hear it every day of people similar story to yourself who's got a connection to the Oval, who's got a connection to the team, and it's a driving force behind their support. In your case, behind this, corporate support, which is massive for the club. How important do you see that level of support from your sort of corporate area in terms of the operations of a football club? How important is that space?
Yeah, again, very similar to how it transfers over to business. How football club is a business, so how it's run aligns with how my business runs. So, I take little snippets and tips from the way you guys handle things, and the way you do your business as well, and I can learn. I learn from that personally as the director of a business. The way to treat staff, to get staff involved, to make it inclusive. We have a lot of women in our company. We're probably like 50% female, which is fantastic in the construction industry. We have Indigenous people that sort of our contractors, Indigenous heritage that we sort of push as well. So all these things align. Women in sports become very prominent, and that's transversing over to business as well, particularly construction. So
it is, yes.
There's a lot of alliances there. Yeah, the businesses and with the footy clubs.
Yeah,
for sure.
What are your thoughts on the women's game? I mean, North Sydney Bears are investing into the game and have a view to having a stronger pathway in the females is just as strong as the males.
Yeah, mate, it's fantastic. Mate, I think the more people that we get in general playing rugby league, the better, male or female. So they've sold out Marathon Stadium tonight for the women's origin. So it's certainly growing in leaps and bounds, and it's got a lot of eyes on it now, which is fantastic. Yeah. Mate, I enjoy watching it. It's good to watch. They're tough.
Yeah,
they give it their all.
Yeah,
so hopefully it's a better game this night.
Yeah,
tonight than it was last night.
Yeah, well, let's hope so. It wasn't very nice last night, unfortunately.
Certainly not. Well,
okay, so let's just talk about finally some of the positives, some of the real impacts you see in your business. I know you've spoke a lot about the way that the culture of the club and the professionalism of the club has rubbed off, but are there any other areas that you see really impacted on your business and been positive towards you, CIP?
Yeah, I think just being present in the community and being a sponsor with the Bears, you are out there, you are in the community. People sort of do recognise the CIP brand a lot more than what they did probably 3 or 4 years ago. And again, whether that's due to the Bears, being affiliated with the Bears, I'm sure it does have an impact. You're getting a fair few people through the gates. If you add that up over a period of time that I've been sponsored for 4 years now, so 4 years. So if you put those numbers together, there's obviously a lot more eyes on the sponsorship, seeing us on the screen, seeing our banner up. I'm certain that it's definitely having an impact with CIP. Definitely.
I agree. I saw the CIP car on the road the other day, and I spotted it straight away the brand. So.
Yeah, we're big with it, mate. We'll have to get a bear on one of the cars, I think, soon.
Might have to. We might have to get another bigger CIP badge on the van.
Exactly. Yeah. No, it's mate. I'm excited with the future of the Bears. As I said, I've got my heart's in it. And at the end of the day, you got to put your money where your mouth is, and I'm prepared to do that, hopefully for long term. I never look at this as a short term proposition for CIP. I always knew we were going to grow as a business, and with that, obviously, hopefully, going with the Bears into an NRL team would be fantastic. And even if I'm a short sponsor, mate, or a little somewhere, CIP, hopefully we have a presence there still in the future, that's for sure.
Well, I think your level of engagement has been amazing, not just there behind the scenes. You're actually front and centre on game day. You know the players. You're there after the game, mingling and engaging with the players. So I feel that the partnership is a little bit more special because of that connection. And I know that we appreciate it, the players appreciate it. And it just adds just that little bit of extra panache, I guess, to our footy club.
Yep. Yeah, and I appreciate that. And I'd feel the same. Oh, yeah, I've got a good relationship with the players. I've got a good relationship with Gareth, Dicko, yourself, everybody associated with it, with the Bears. I've got a good relationship with. They're warming, they're welcoming. They always do the right thing by me and my staff as well. Friends, my friends come to the game as well. It's not just my staff. All my mates are on board. They all got Bears jerseys as well, and they're all diehard Parramatta supporters and Bulldog supporters and everything else. So I think their second love, the second team is the Bears for sure.
Yeah.
We're trying to swing our way. I think.
Absolutely. Keep working. Try. Yeah. Keep just getting that merchandise. That'll swing them eventually. Well, Chris, it's been great having you here today. I appreciate your time and the messages. That it was really great to hear why, and understanding the why as to why you support the Bears and how that came about. It's a really nice story, and hopefully we can continue to grow together, and you can find the benefits from us, and we can certainly, find the benefits from what you do every week. So appreciate your time, and stay tuned. The Bears podcast will be back for our next series very soon.
The North Sydney Bears podcast, proudly brought to you by CIP.